Welcome back to the Daily Hunt. I'm Henry, and this show is designed to give you guys my insights and analysis of the markets every single day. I've been on holiday for a couple of weeks, actually for over a month, and I tried to do the show during my holidays. But the last 2 weeks of the holiday, I decided to take the time off and enjoy time with family. So today, we're just going to go back to where we are and analyze the markets, analyze crypto, analyze stocks and commodities. One of the things I want to note here is since my previous analysis, you can see that the market's done exactly what I've mentioned, especially with crypto, where we've hit that 100K zone with Bitcoin and Ethereum had a bit of a dump. We are now seeing a continuation of that dump. And I think it's very, very interesting what you're going to see today, my analysis and where I'm seeing the zones. With stocks, we're seeing a bit of a distribution here. We had that drop down the 20 EMA, which I mentioned a number of times as my key zone, and I think it needs to find support there. We're going to be covering that and what I expect moving forward. There is a lot of weakness because of fundamentals. So we have, first of all, October is a very, very volatile month historically, and we have Trump speaking nearly every day about tariffs with China. Then the next day, one day it's we're going to add 100% tariffs. The next day it's we want to negotiate, and so on. So it's creating this volatility in addition to the usual volatility we see in October, and we have other fundamental factors in both markets, which I'll cover during the video. But this is my introduction. I want to get straight into the analysis. I'll start sharing my charts and we'll discuss these during the show. Right, so here you have it. You have my screen, and I want to go straight into crypto just because crypto is dumping, and I've been cash for about 3 weeks now. Let's just do a quick analysis here of the date range of when I've been cash. I started exiting here some of my positions. You're looking at around 26 days, so nearly a month now, where I've just been 100% cash in crypto and not willing to take risks. I took a few risks here with some alts. They didn't move much, so I ended up selling those off for around break even, small losses. Other than that, I have not been willing to take a trade. The only trades I would have been willing to take are the shorts. I missed this main short here, and I didn't want to take this one just because I think we could find support around the 3.9K on Ethereum. But I think let's go to Bitcoin first and discuss where we're at. We've cleared this zone again, okay? The double bottom scenario that I mentioned a few weeks ago no longer exists, okay? Because we've already tested the 100K zone. What we want to see actually is a continuation here. And if it doesn't find support around the midpoint, we want to see a retest of this key monthly and weekly zone. We've seen previous supports here historically. So we're looking at around that May level where we found supports. Then we had the break up above. And if you can see here clearly, the break wasn't significant. So we had a big trend, dip, significant trend here. And then we had consolidation. The market, especially Bitcoin, tends to move in 30% gains to 50% gains, consolidations or dips, and then another 30% gain. So we've recently just had this rejection, which I've mentioned on my Discord group. I wasn't able to do these daily shows, so it wasn't something that I could mention to you guys here as listeners, but we are now continuing here. For me, we go back to this level. This is where we rebuild. And what I mean by rebuild is we reaccumulate here, or position traders will reaccumulate here, and long-term investors, because I think 100K is a nice level. Now, of course, it can go a little bit lower than that, and I'll talk about it in a bit. But the main thing that I'm looking at is the RSI going under 30, where we look at the market now oversold, we start building some momentum, and then maybe in November, as I've mentioned before, and I'll discuss that again here on this video because it's been a few weeks, where I think the market moves higher. In terms of these longer time frames, it's very important to look at these longer time frames as well. We are now seeing bearish divergence, bearish divergence. Two bearish divergence means that we potentially, if we break this trend line, don't focus on the chart, focus on just the RSI. I'll just draw that for you. If we break this trend line, we are now in a bearish market. We have to be very, very careful that the RSI doesn't break here. And if it breaks, where does it usually rebuild? It usually rebuilds around the 55 level or the 50. These are the two levels that we have to focus on. We have 55 or 53 and around 50. We want that to be steady. We want that to be kept, okay? Especially on the monthly, it's crucial. Otherwise, we go bearish and we go bearish hard. 20 EMA is also a key level here, which is 88. We have 103. 20 EMA here is a 2-yearly average, approximately, and it's around 88K there. So if we get Bitcoin at 88K, it's a huge opportunity, in my opinion, for institutions to accumulate. Very, very unlikely to happen quickly, because on the weekly, we are going to have to find support here first. Okay, so on the weekly, we have RSI support here. We just have to see where the market is. So far, it's been a weekly market. So look at these loans, around the 44, 44, 44, 44. Okay, if we hit that 44 level, bear in mind that we've historically, especially in the last 2 years, seen support there on the weekly, okay? So that could be a key pivot point for us to go in bullish again, instead of holding cash or going bearish, okay? So you're either going, you should be right now, in my opinion, and what I'm doing is I am cash. Some traders that I have in the Discord group, they are going short and they're taking short trades here with the market moving down. And it's very, very clear. I mean, I hope everybody can see why. And if you're not seeing why, I think it will be useful for you to join the Discord group and learn a few things so that you have better understanding of why the markets are doing what they're doing and a better understanding of my strategy. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. In terms of Ethereum, and this is where altcoins are, I think we've had this bullish divergence. Personally, Ethereum has been my best performer. I've made over 200% since trading it around 1.6K on the long side, and we've traded it 4 times, reinvesting profits. Entered around here, and I exited around here. Okay, so we entered 4.4, 4.5, and then we exited around 4.4, 4.5. Then we had the big dump. So again, you have to be focused, you have to be on it, you have to be monitoring the markets constantly so that you don't get caught out. And that's exactly what we did in this Discord group and managed to protect ourselves as much as we can. And we are now cash. We didn't catch this, we didn't catch this. We're now monitoring the situation for support zones. The next support zone for me is, I think it's probably best to do it on this chart. Okay. Next support zone for me is 3.5 on Ethereum, and then we have EK and 2.6. Okay. We have to monitor these levels. We haven't had a dip like this in a very, very long time. So we had that bullish move here, which I ended up buying the initial move, and then we've just continued staying above this midpoint. Okay. The midpoint held up, then it got flushed out. Now we are in a bearish market. This is my opinion. I've shared it over and over again. We are bearish. We are looking now for support to buy again. Bitcoin's very similar, right? Bitcoin here has been consolidating and ranging for approximately 4-5 months. So if we look at from May 2025 up until now, we are actually in a distribution consolidation zone. And yes, we've had some trends that have given us 20, 15 percenters, and a few other ones that have given us 5 or 6. But overall, we are looking weak here, and we are right at a support zone. And then the next level is 99, and 93. Okay. If we go down here, it will take a lot more effort for us to move back up because we are in a ranging market. Okay. So we could easily end up in a situation, and this is something that you should be cautious about, a situation similar to 2022. Okay. I'm going to show you guys what happened there. We had a top around April, a retest of that zone again, and then we had a sell-off, right? And a distribution. So we had a distribution, consolidation zone, a sell-off, and then a consolidation for another build-up. Okay. So this setup here, I think it's worth me taking a screenshot of this and probably sharing it with my community as well. This setup here is very, very similar to what we are currently seeing. Can you see it? Right here. Okay. So we could actually be building a new push for higher levels around this 100 zone. 100 could be the new low. And then we could be building here, okay? Or even 94 and so on. Let's see where the market takes us. Usually from the highs, it's a 75% drop. And maybe I'm focusing too much on crypto here, but it's crucial. It's a 75% drop on average. Do we get that move? I'm very, very cautious here to say that we do right now. I think the 100 zone is a key support zone, especially with institutional buying coming in with Bitcoin, right? With all the other alts, they are looking absolutely weak, and they look like they want to be coming back down to these levels here. So we're going to be able to buy them super, super cheap for the next momentum move. On the long side, guys, is where you make the money. Yes, you can make some money on the short side, but the long side is where we make money. And as a swing trader, that's what I really want to be buying and looking into. And we want to be buying moves like this. November 2024, big euphoric buy-in. We don't have that yet. We have a flat market, which is basically undesirable for investors at the moment, especially alts. Okay, that's. I think I'll leave crypto with that. I mean, there's a lot of other things I could share here, and the other shows, because I don't want to go into too detail into crypto. The other shows tomorrow and the days after that, especially my weekend show, we'll be covering the other insights and reasons why I think 100 is a key level, and then we'll be talking about the scenarios of how that will all develop into a move higher. And why November was the moment for me to look at crypto again and buy it. So we've covered crypto. I want to now cover the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and the Russell. We'll be covering the VIX as well, and some stocks that we've been trading the last few weeks because we've done really well. I personally made over 100% in my portfolio. We've kind of dipped a little bit the last few days. So I'm in the US Investing Championship, so we made around 80, 90% guaranteed because we've got the stop losses around those zones. And we are around like 95, 100% depending on the volatility and where we are. Yesterday we dropped off a little bit. We were 104% for the year to date. And I'm sitting on that for the year to date with stocks, okay? With crypto, it's a different story. We trade a little bit differently. So I'm around 100 and something percent, 90 something to 100% for the year to date with stocks. So definitely beating the markets, and I definitely know a thing or two about stocks. Okay, so with S&P 500, what's a worry for me is we've now broken the channel that I mentioned a number of times in my previous videos, and we are actually in a very similar looking setup to October of last year. Okay, so there's two scenarios that could happen here. We have this October last year scenario where we dip a little bit, we retest previous highs. So maybe we retest this zone. Okay, so the 6.5K where we are right now, and then we move higher into the markets. Now, here we had a significant event which drove all the markets higher, which is the election and Trump winning the election. What is the catalyst in this situation here right now for us? We don't know. We don't know yet. We don't really have a catalyst. I think the catalyst, if I'm being, if I'm looking at everything that might happen, it's interest rates. So if interest rates get reduced and we still continue to show, or the US continues to show that they still have a strong economy, we don't have a deeper fall here. We have a continuation play that then takes us to around 7K on the next level. Okay, mid 2026 is what I've forecasted here. We could be seeing that earlier if the market reacts positively and then we have a strong economy. The reason why we're selling off a little bit is bearish divergence, which I've mentioned in prior videos, that was developing. And in my Discord group, I've mentioned this prior to it actually being triggered. And we have resistance here on the midpoint of this channel a number of times, with the overextension zone being that key level as well, the 6.7 that I foresaw since December of last year. So 12 months on, we are at a new high, but we've only made maybe around 10% because of this huge dip. I've managed to make around 90 something percent, nearly 100% now, as we're speaking on the 17th of October. So in terms of where the market goes, we typically see the market find a support around this level, 38, and then we typically also see a drop to around under 30. Under 30, I think, takes us back to this level, 6.4, 6.5, depending on how quickly it sells off. If we stay around this area, which is 42, and consolidate here, like we have done before, it's a key level around this 40 level, maybe even a little bit lower, 38. We then build from 6.5 and then move up higher. Just have to see. For me, I will say this, the market is a short. S&P 500 is a short on my strategy. I can easily take a short position here and know that the probabilities are in my favor. I'm choosing not to. I have a portfolio which I've built and I'm managing that. We are in significant profit on the long side, and I don't tend to short the markets. However, I will be looking at some opportunities during this video for short opportunities. The Nasdaq is also looking very similar. A bit of a distribution consolidation zone here. Could be similar to August, which is another volatile month, similar to October, and then we move up higher. If we're patient enough, we manage positions correctly, we can move up higher and enjoy additional profits on those positions. The Russell had a breakout, so we ended up going to a new all-time high with the Russell, and that, for me, was a trigger point for a sell-off, and I think then we build up the momentum for that move in November. Okay, so if we sell off here, then we build up a move for those growth stocks in the Russell 2000 and for a nice move in riskier assets. This is my opinion. We probably come back down to 2.3 if we break this level, the midpoint. That's what I'm seeing anyway, personally. The VIX is showing clear signs that we are now in fear. And it was a key trigger point here a couple of weeks ago when I did my last video, and it has been triggered. But I will say this, volatility has been high. My portfolio has performed better because of the volatility, just because of what I've bought. So it has been a stock pickers market. It hasn't been a market where you can buy everything. You can buy S&P 500 because it hasn't really done well buying indexes the last month or so, or let's say 3-4 weeks. It's been a stock pickers market, and what have we picked? We've managed to buy some of the main leaders in the market, such as Rigetti. And again, this is selling off a little bit here, but we bought it around this level. We've made a 1 to 14 because we started selling off at these highs, maybe a 1 to 11, okay? As well, quantum plays, we ended up buying CCJ, around some key levels as well, around this level here for that continuation play. Yes, these are dipping. We are managing and scaling out of positions in the Discord group and taking profits. Big Bear AI as well moved well, but this has been very, very volatile, this move. So we end up trading around this level, and the reason why you have annotations is because I did a short video explaining my performance with Big Bear. Intel moved well after the US government bought. We end up buying on the consolidation. As you can see here, there was a nice consolidation level, right? And that's it. We have PPT. These are precious metals. So as you know, gold has done really well. Precious metals have done really well. We have PPTA in our portfolio to benefit from that. And we've traded it around this level and have a nice risk reward ratio on this. And I'll just show you guys what's the risk rewards on this. So the reason why I've been able to build my portfolio quite nicely is because we're buying the right themes at the right time, and we are making these 1 to 6, 1 to 10 risk rewards. AMSC, which is semiconductor, hasn't moved too well. We're kind of around a small profit here, and I'll be looking to scale out of it very, very soon. Archer was moving really well, but we had a sell-off yesterday. Again, we're scaling out of these tops because I think the market's a bit toppy, and that's it. You know, we have some other ones. Sana moved really well for us recently. We have AMD, SMC, so big. So Sana moved really well. We had a 1 to 7, scaled out a little bit. AMD moving well again, also scaling out of this a little bit. So taking some profits off the table. 1 to 8 on this. SMCI, Nvidia. These recent buys, CRM, Salesforce, I thought that we could probably see a move here. Yesterday was a sell-off day, and that's the reason why we kind of are sitting on a small loss here as well, which is I thought maybe it moves well because it's a safety play, but it hasn't moved here and probably comes back down. So we have to sell this for a small loss. ARAI has moved well, but it's been volatile. So 1, 2, 3. So it has these big dips. I'm holding through. I'm trying to hold as much as I can through these volatile moments. I know that October is volatile, so I got to hold through and manage positions. So we're looking pretty well. There's no real new ideas just because the market's selling off, and I usually buy long. The volatility is high as well, so I'm trying to be cautious and just take my profits and lock them in, because at the moment there is a big chunk of my profits sitting as unactualized profits, and I want them to be locked in. So we're scaling out of positions. Okay, so that's stocks. Maybe it's worth looking at the Chinese market, but again, I think all the markets right now are looking for a sell-off, and that's exactly what's happening even with the German market. It's been distributed here for a long time, as have most of the other markets. Okay, French market here as well, distributing but moving up a little bit higher. And we have the Chinese market, which has sold off, and this is the reason why. I mean, the reason why it sold off is because of Trump's tariffs. This is the reason why we end up selling Alibaba and Baidu in profits and scaling out of those positions during the move up higher, just because I don't trust the current market situation. I was scaling. So as we were running the profits here, we were scaling out around these levels, and then we sold around this zone for the rest of the position. Okay. That was on, I think, the early Friday, around this level here. And then since then, it's moving bearish. Now I want to go into commodities, and then we'll kind of wrap it up for today because it's been about 25. I want to look at gold. I think gold is down here somewhere, chart with annotations. Look, gold is in a situation where I think there's just euphoric buying here. I thought we'd do one small trend and a dip. Gold now is full parabolic. And I did mention in my previous videos that there is nothing that I can say about gold other than it has a lot of strength. And this was around this level here, 3.6, 3.7, where I was thinking we could get resistance. And the only thing you can do here is let this run finish. So as a swing trader, if you didn't take this trade here, you're not really going to find a huge opportunity around here. This is maximum risk around this level. The reason why is we have overbought on the daily, we have overbought on the weekly, and I'm talking about insanely overbought levels that we haven't seen before. Sounded a bit like Trump here, but levels that we haven't seen before, and we've only seen them. What was the period? 2010 to 2011, right? So maybe we have a crash in the markets very, very soon because of this. On the monthly, you're also seeing it at highly elevated levels. So again, levels that we haven't seen before. We're now looking at RSI at 92. It is maximum risk and a very, very, very low reward. Now, it's not to say that this hasn't happened before. 68, we've had that. We've had these levels at 72, so the year 72, and the 80s as well. Okay, we had that big run in the 80s. Okay, but why would this continue that high right now? Is there a crash brewing? What I think will happen is I think they're going to flush out a lot of gold investors soon. And I think they're going to manipulate the market